This right here is the top-down camera rig that I've been using for the last couple years, but it has some major problems, mainly the setup time. This is typically my computer workstation, so I have to clean everything off of the desk, then set up a C-stand, set up the camera, usually set up a few lights, and all of that, sometimes just to film 1 or 2 shots, and then have to take it all back down again so that I can get my computer set back up to keep working on my video. But today that's all gonna change because I'm gonna be setting up a permanent and dedicated top-down camera rig table. So that from here on out, every time that I need to film a top-down camera shot at my desk, it's just going to be a matter of hitting the record button. And here's what I ended up putting together. I got this nice tool chest workbench off of Amazon that has a nice big cabinet on the bottom with a shelf inside. Above that, there's 2 drawers. And these obviously got filled with lots of camera gear that has needed a place to go anyway, so that worked out nicely. This has wheels on the bottom, so if I do need to move it, it's really easy. The top of this is counter height, so it makes for a perfect workbench. And then the other thing that worked out really nicely is the pegboard here on the back, which I actually ended up using to mount the camera on. And this pegboard is by far the best overhead rig that I've used. Most overhead rigs will have some sort of stand on the side of your desk that comes up and then an extension arm that like goes all the way across. All of that kind of stuff really gets in the way, and this is way more low profile. I can have it here all the time without it getting in the way. Also, this is really easy to adjust and move around. If I want to move the camera down or even move the camera over here, I can do that really easily just by unscrewing it from the pegboard and screwing it in somewhere else. For mounting the camera onto the pegboard, I'm just using this quick release plate that has a 1/4 thread on it. I'm putting that screw through the back of the pegboard. Then I have this standoff that screws onto that. And these are all just parts that I actually stole from a tripod, but I will leave links to similar items on Amazon that will work for doing the same thing. On the end of that, I have a ball head mount. And then my camera has a quick release plate on it too, which then can connect to the ball head mount, just like that. The black surface on the top of the workbench is reflective, so that looked really weird to have all these reflections in the background. So I just got this really cheap desk mount to throw down on top of it to kill any reflections. And then for lighting, I have this 1 tube light off to the right side, and that is the main light. This coffee sign and this little light here were already there. I use those when filming in other parts of my studio. These aren't at all part of the overhead rig setup. All I need is to have this 1 tube light turned on. And here's what a overhead shot actually looks like using this overhead rig with just the 1 light turned on. So this looks perfectly fine, but I also have a little tube light off to the left here. I'll usually set this on like a yellow color as a fill light, and here is what that actually looks like. So now my top-down shots have gone from taking like 10 to 15 minutes to set up to taking 0 minutes to set up. Occasionally I will throw in some extra props like this plant, my Apple keyboard, whatever, just to kind of fill up some of the dead space on the desk and make it look more aesthetic. But at most, that's gonna take like 30 seconds or a minute. So this is still gonna save me tons of time. If you're setting up a overhead rig, I'll link all of this stuff in the description below if you want to get any of this stuff. I definitely recommend some sort of pegboard, even if it's just like a standalone pegboard that you mount on the wall above your existing desk to use to mount your camera to, that's going to be a much better solution than having a C-stand or some kind of overhead rig that has, you know, extension arms and all this kind of stuff that takes up room above your desk. I would definitely recommend going with the pegboard idea. As always, you can watch some more of my videos over here, and I'll see you in the next one.